Mr. Chairman, I have no illusion that our concerns on this side of the aisle are going to be heard or going to change the trajectory of this legislation. We know you're on a fast pace to try to get this accomplished, but I see we're not going to address the airplane manufacturers. We're not going to address the Chinese emissions, the technology transitions, the pepper spray, bear spray, vending machines, marine manufacturing, international treaties, and by one vote, you prevented us from adopting into this a preemption clause. So, but let's focus just for a minute back on the background on the Chinese. Just for background, China and India apparently account for 75% of all the hydrocarbons that are produced globally. And in 2015, China and India pledged, operative word, pledged to reduce their HFC emissions. But as of last year, all their emissions have actually increased. So they're not committed. They're just simply not committed to do what is necessary to reduce this across the world. Well, interestingly enough, China and the United States are neither of us are members of the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol. But unlike China, H.R. 5554 will place a legal requirement for the United States to do so. China obviously has no intentions of complying with that reduction. Therefore, America is once again going to be acting unilaterally to try to solve a global problem that's going to continue to be exacerbated. Moreover, H.R. 5544 is skewed in favor of taking those products off the market without regard to the cost, practicality, or the cost impact to consumers. Put it in perspective. American manufacturers, this is I've got enough involvement in this as engineering with a firm on this. American manufacturers originally used R22 in their units, but in an effort to try to reduce ozone, they switched to 410A. Now, 410A did make a savings to the environment, but it operates at a higher temperature and required the use of larger coils, so the HVAC equipment had to be replaced. The coils couldn't fit into the unit, so they had to find new manufacturing to be able to take care of that. And what happened? It was passed on to the consumer. They're now shifting to a new coolant, 435B, which is it's a substitute. But the problem with it, it still contains HFCs. So we're seeing under this legislation, we're going to be forced to go to a fourth and a fifth and a sixth generation of trying to reduce this, all with the cost to the consumers. Now, we should also consider the claim that this will, I listened to it earlier today, they said this is going to create thousands of jobs. I submit to you, Mr. Chairman, where? Because you really think that in China and India, where the demands are high that they're going to sell American equipment, which is now going to cost more money, that China and India and Europe are going to buy our equipment when they could be buying the air handling equipment out of China and India that's produced cheaper and with a less expensive coolant? Let's be honest with each other, what we're trying to accomplish here. There is a different agenda. We'll let the majority continue to push it through in a rapid fashion like this. But I urge you, Chairman, to correct this issue. Please address these other matters that we've raised, that I started off with, from pepper spray, vending machines, marines, before it comes to the floor, so that our consumers, our American consumers, can feel like we're truly addressing their problem. And we're not going to do it at affecting their pocketbook. And where the jobs are going to be created, we better start addressing where that's going to happen. Because I'm going to submit to you, I'm not so confident that it's going to happen in America. I'm afraid we're going to be shipping those jobs overseas. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman yields back. Does any